We are live. Hi, welcome to MMA UK with me, Danny Brough. I'm joined with Jamie Haymaker. Hey, how's it going, mate? You okay?
All good, mate. Yeah. Just getting as much training as I can in wherever I can, running at home, back garden, everything.
Living dream.
Kind of, mate. Yeah. It's a bit of a mad time in it at the minute, but
yeah. I mean, we expecting it to be this long so far when it first happened, when the news first come out.
I think when they shut the gyms, I think everyone expected it to be pretty long. I think it'll be even longer. I think you're looking probably, I reckon, end of June before gyms are even contemplated opening. So I think it's going to be a while yet, to be honest. So I'm not optimistic for shows to be happening anytime sort of until the end of the year, I don't think.
Yeah, what have you been doing to try and keep the motivation there, mate? Because on week one, I was well motivated. I had all my goals set out, plans, thought smash this easy. Woke up the next day, I've not done anything since.
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of the same, really. Well, no, actually, to be fair, I've been pretty motivated because I've just set little tasks every week. Monthly tasks. So for April, I've just decided to run 100 miles. So I've done 91 or 92 miles now. So I've got a few to do next couple of days. Just trying. I'm not a runner. I don't really like running. I do it usually for fight camps, and that's about it. But I've actually got a bit more enjoyment out of it. So just taking the positives, really, mate. Just like actually enjoying having a run about, and just around some good trails around where I live. So I've been following them. So yeah, I'm going to do the same next month as well. I'm going to do 120 miles next month if I complete this. So yeah, just keeping the motivation up. I mean, I've been sort of doing my wrestling drills. I've been doing some drills really in the back garden and bits and bobs and just weights and stuff like that. So a couple of challenges on like pull-up bars and stuff like that. So just been finding little things to do throughout, but I'm still hitting a lot of calories. I'm sort of counting everything. I'm on my output, and it's quite a lot. So yeah, it's not been too bad. I'm just missing the actual proper fight training and really missing sort of watching as well the fights on like UFC and stuff. So
yeah, literally watch anything right now. Literally anything. If something was getting aired, we'd all be watching it.
Yeah, it's going to be big. I mean, this card they're talking about it's a couple of weeks off, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks mega. I mean,
it looks too good to be true, doesn't it?
But BT are sharing it. UFC have actually put it out there, so it's got to be real. But saying that though, so was the post from Dana with the fight for Ferguson on it, and obviously the Ferguson Gaethje fight was on, and then it was off again straight away. So so far it seems like it's going to be on this, and I'm looking forward to it. That'll be a great fight as well. Really good fight.
Be awesome. Will you be zooming with anyone whilst you're watching it, or just watch it on your own at home?
Probably just watch it on my own, mate, to be honest. I'm just looking forward to actually watching fights again. Like I say, you kind of lose all concept of time, especially dates and what day it is. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to actually watching some scraps again. I've been watching, so James Doolan's been putting some good stuff on. James is Rio Grappling Scotland coach, high level black belt, and he's got like Stevie Ray in the UFC and stuff like that. So he's been sharing some cracking videos. And he's right what he's saying as well. He's talking about like fighters in the game should really know the history of the game. It's something I'm massive on anyway, the history of the sport, and I go back a long way with watching it, and always been well into it. So he's been sharing some really good videos. So I've been nailing them, and obviously UFC Fight Pass has got some good stuff on as well. So it's been good to watch the older stuff as well, and just sort of study some bits, and that's what I've kind of spent my time doing, a bit of studying really.
If you were to go back and say you were starting out back in the day, what kind of obviously now you do MMA, so you got to touch everything anyway. But back then, what do you think you'd have stuck at if you could only pick one of the disciplines?
Probably just if you're going to have to stick to one, then Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for me. So what I enjoy the most, I love stand up. I do really enjoy the stand up a lot. I like the intricacy of the stand up game as well. I'm not a stander and banger as you probably know. I'm pretty much a calculated sort of stand up fighter, but I really enjoy stand up fight. But I don't know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu just does it for me. I don't know. There's something I really wrestling as well. Though I do enjoy the wrestling. Wrestling's really tough on your body though. I think most of the injuries that I've had through fight camps, or most of the niggles, have always been from wrestling. just like catching, whether it's catching your neck or what, your neck takes a lot of pounding really throughout fight camps when you're wrestling. So I'd say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that's what I enjoy the most. I'd say.
Think we'll ever see anything like that in the schools, wrestling or anything like that, like the rest of the world? Not going to happen, is it?
Nah, especially with this now. I mean, we don't know what's going to come out the other end of this with regards to schools and like. I mean, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools or MMA fight teams or whatever. I mean, they could be a while off before they're allowed to actually get teams together, or they might be in lower numbers, or there's going to be some kind of number restriction, I think, for a while. Not all doom and gloom. But end of the day, it is what it is, isn't it? I can see it being sort of smaller sessions for the time being. Once it reopens, and it's going to be in phases, isn't it? So we'll see. But I don't think schools will ever take to it over here. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu maybe, just because they are. But saying that though, karate and stuff like that tried to get into schools many years ago, back in like the 80s and 90s, and that failed over here. And that was quite a big sport in the UK and Europe back in the day, wasn't it? So. If that failed, which is seen as a lighter sport, as to say, compared to the likes of jiu-jitsu or MMA especially, it's going to be very tough. What some schools are allowing, like their students to go out to do training somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
I think we're doing a bit of after-school clubs, aren't they? Like not many, but I think the odd few are allowing a tutor to come over to do after-school stuff. But there's nothing major.
We're in the works at the minute for Real Grappling Manchester and potentially for Real Grappling Huddersfield as well, which include the North England stuff that I'll go into in a minute. But we've potentially got some, once the schools reopen, stuff like that, we're going to be sent some students with that. They've actually been in contact with us to do that. So hopefully that will take off. But being part of the curriculum like it is in America, I can't see it ever really happening. America do it perfectly. They wanted wrestling to be a big part of it going back in the 80s, and that's what they did. They put it into all the schools. Where the UK, I mean, they don't even see most of mixed martial arts as a sport anyway, really, do they?
No.
So it's quite pathetic, really.
No, I mean, like you say, most kids aren't going to be staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning to watch UFC. I know we've got stuff over here, but when you're that age, it's like the Manchester Uniteds of the world, isn't it? Everyone wants to. That's who draws them in. You
say that though, but they're into. How many people are into sort of WWE and wrestling and stuff like that? Yeah, and true, again, that's majority of that was always, especially like when I was a kid, that was always America only, and you had to it'd have reruns on like a Friday night or a Saturday, but everything that you had to watch live was again like the UFC is, and they still get massive numbers and always have done through the UK. So I don't think that's going to be a massive excuse for it, really. I think it's more just down to the way it's advertised over here and. The stigmas that have always gone with the sport, that's always been a bit of a problem. No. And I don't think that changes because, I know of teachers in the past that have been told not to train or not to fight because they'll be coming into school with black eyes and stuff like that. And that's the way they look at it. You can get a black eye playing football on the weekend. So.
Yeah. Football is more dangerous. My kids do both, and he gets injured at football all the time. Only little niggles. He's only 5, do you know what I mean? But he's never once come home from MMA with anything major, ever.
Most of my serious injuries, like I snapped my ACL, I was playing football. So broke my ankle playing football, ruptured my other ankle playing football. So yeah, football's always been, honestly, football's always been a bad one for me for injuries. Yeah, really bad. I think it's just overlooked. But if you rang work and told them you can't go in because you've broke your foot playing football, I think they'd be okay with it. If you told them you broke your foot doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I don't think they'd understand it as much. That makes sense.
All different story.
Yeah, definitely. But I shouldn't be, should it? Because it's still a sport. And it's one thing that always pisses me off, to be honest, when you hear stuff like that.
Yeah, obviously we're on Facebook Live, so I'm not being ignorant when I'm looking down. No. Just it's on my phone, it's not up on my computer. So I'm just keeping an eye on it. I keep missing comments. I've done a few lives, and apparently I don't see the comments until after, so I will keep my eye on it. What do you think your main goal to get out of this lockdown is? Just to try and get through the other end financially all right and hopefully a bit fitter?
Well, yeah, I mean, my fitness is through the roof, to be honest with you, because I've sort of just come out of a fight camp, obviously, for the fight in February. I didn't really stop from that. I just continued in the gym. I was in the gym sort of the following day. just back on it really. And since that, kept me running up, kept everything up that I normally do for fight camps, and now just upped it even more. So I'm fit, and I'm at the point now where if the lockdown finished on Saturday and they said there's going to be a fight show the week after, I'd definitely be ready to jump in. That's where I'm at the minute. Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm keeping my weight down. I'm keeping fit and healthy. Really, so my diet's still good. And that's the plan for this whole thing. I mean, we know it's not going to be the next couple of weeks, but certainly towards the end of June, I'm going to be fit and definitely ready for anything.
Don't think you picked up many injuries in your last fight with it being 16 seconds.
No, definitely didn't. Well, do you know what? Weirdly enough, so we were talking about wrestling before. I quite badly damaged my neck. I was doing quite a lot of work with Deck Williams, and we were just doing a bit of wrestling, and it was like 2 weeks before the fight, doing a bit of wrestling, and at the time I didn't feel anything, and I got home, I thought my neck was a bit cricked, like just at the top, and then it was like the next 2-3 days I couldn't move my shoulder at all. It was like frozen, and then got right to the fight, and I felt fine. Obviously, adrenaline started to kick in, and then I went for so in the back we was actually doing the Imanari rolls, looking to go straight in and go for that heel hook. That was the original plan. And I've done an Imanari roll into one of the lads, caught his ankle straight away, and I felt my back go immediately. So before it even gone out, it was like I felt the pain again. So yeah, I didn't feel 100% for that fight once I was at the fight show, but I just kept my head down and just got on with it. And like I say, I went out for a quick finish and fortunately got it as well. Much bigger guy than me as well. I didn't really expect him to be as big as what he was.
Yeah, so obviously lockdown provided. Have you got any names in the hat for who you'd want to see at the end of this?
Oh, do you mean who I want to fight? Or
Yeah.
No, I don't really call anybody out, to be honest. I just want to get back in and like I say, I know there's been a Cage Warriors announced for December, I believe, or talked about for December in Manchester. So I know Ian Butlin, my coach, he's looking at potentially that for us. So hopefully something will come off with that. That'd be nice.
That'd be pretty decent,
I'd like a fight in between that. If I'm honest, because I was like I say, I don't want to fight immediately. I don't want to have February and then have to wait till December. But that, it might just be how it is. We just don't know yet, do we? We don't know what's going to come on the other end of this.
Have you had to do much travelling for fighting at all? Or you pretty much stayed around the Northwest?
Nah,
in general, teaching, training, fighting.
Training wise, I've pretty much only ever trained really in the Northwest. So used to train over at Black Ledges with Tom, and then obviously, like I say, I had a child, and just travel became a bit too much. It's sort of 50 mile round trip sort of thing up there. So kind of started to train a little bit more local, and then obviously me and Ian started what we've got now with the Rio grappling stuff. So I got to Huddersfield, and yeah, I'd like to get about. We're talking about going to train with James Doolan, Stevie Ray, and the lads up in Scotland at some point. That was hopefully going to be around sort of June time, but that obviously won't be now. And we were supposed to be going to Italy to train over in Italy. That was booked in for So that was booked in for August to go over for the Rio camp in August under our head coach Roberto Atala. So it would have been really nice to go over there. Sort of such a high level black belt, and it would have been great to get over there with our coach and train with him. But unfortunately, that's, like I say, been sort of thrown to the wayside for a minute, for the minute. But we'll see. Traveling wise, I've done more traveling. I've done a fair bit of traveling with commentating. So I've done like London, Bethnal Green. I've been over to Denmark. So I've done a fair bit. I got to train in Denmark. Well, that was good. So yeah, I got to train like Mads Burnell and people like that. So Mads is obviously in Cage Warriors world champ and was in the UFC. So yeah, I got to train with Mads and Pani Kianza and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool actually. Going out there a few years ago, but I want to do a lot more. Darren Stewart, I would like to get down with Darren and do a bit of training with him because got a good relationship with him. He's a good guy, and I like his style of fighting as well. I think we could definitely learn something from him. So we are looking to get about and to do a lot more. And this year was kind of going to be the year for it, and now it looks like it probably a bit more next year. But that's fine. I'm more than happy to wait. I'd like to get a scrap in maybe abroad at some point as well. that's definitely been talked about, and something that massively interests me, going to fight somewhere. I'd love to fight in America, obviously, but just anywhere abroad, really. I'd love to get out there and just fight.
Oh, nice. You still gonna focus on trying to do more grapplings competitions and stuff like that? I know you did one before Christmas. I think you enjoyed it from what I've seen.
Yeah, yeah. So managed to get Grapple Industries in London. That was good. That was a really good tournament. A lot of fights. I think about 9 or 10 fights, which is pretty good. Like I say, I only lost on points in one of the fights, so pretty cool. And the grapple industry is really interesting because just the way it's set up, because you just get so many fights in one day, and it's miles better than anything else I've sort of seen. And I was actually signed up to for the March one in Dublin, but obviously again cancelled. So yeah, is the as soon as something opens up, sorry, I was supposed to be fighting on Grapple Fest as well.
Right.
So we was scheduled to go on Grapple Fest for the card that was about to just be in May, but that's again been cancelled. But I know Tom was talking about putting that back a little bit, and as soon I think he's looking at some kind of, as soon as they get a confirmation of when they can start to plan it, they're going to have it planned in straight away. So I'd love to get on that, but I'm going to guess you're going to have fucking hundreds of people wanting to try and get on it now.
It's the venues as well, because all the venues are gonna, not just martial arts, but sports, events, singing events, whatever it is. Everywhere's just gonna want to go back to it, aren't they?
I think a lot of the time now with this kind of what's going on, I think there's been so many issues with the events planning now. And like you say, I think moving forward, there's going to be some place to go under from this as well. That's what you got to think. There's going to be a few, not just gyms, but like you say, venues that are going to go under from it. And some of the bigger venues might luckily sort of stay as they are and be able to put a few shows on straight away. But I don't know. It depends. It depends if people can afford to put the shows on. That's the other thing, because there's a lot of capital behind some of these shows that you need to put into it. And are people willing to risk that at the minute? Probably not. Yeah. I know, like I said, I know Grapple Fest will definitely put one on. That'd be great to be on that. So it's a potential. I know FCC. I know Adam's going to be looking at putting a show on as soon as possible. But even from the conversation I've had with him, it looks like that's potentially not until end of the year or whatever it will be. So yeah, we'll soon see. I think Cage Warriors are going to be ones that'll put a show on within 4 weeks or something. Yeah, but I think they're in a position to be able to go. Lockdown's open in June. We're doing a show July 1st, whatever. So I think that's how they'll work it. Don't know how anyone else will, but we'll soon see.
Ian Butlin saying 2 fights in the Brazil trip hopefully this year. Very optimistic.
Well, the Brazil trip I think will definitely happen. So we're going to go train with our coach Roberto out there. Over in sort of Rio, which would be pretty cool. So I can see us definitely getting out. Probably again, that'll probably be December time, sort of towards Christmas. Once the travel restrictions seem to lighten up, that'd be nice to go out there and, like I say, get some serious training. But yeah, what did he say? 2 fights? Is that what he said? 2
fights in a Brazil trip, hopefully. Yeah.
There we go. Then that sounds good to me.
Booked.
We've as a team, we've had the conversations with all of our fighters, and we know our guys are all ready to go whenever they get the call. They'll be ready to go, and that's pretty much what we want.
Yeah,
it's kind of what we're trying to instill in people, and obviously part of the Rio team that we've got as well. On the MMA side, we've got the Quantum side as well with Ian, Dave, Andy Butlin as well. So we've got a full team of coaches all ready to coach as soon as they're allowed to. That's the thing. Ian's been putting out some really good videos as well on sort of his YouTube channel, so have a look at that as well, because that's got some really good stuff on it. Just drills and all sorts of other stuff you can do with your partner. Especially if you live with someone that does jiu-jitsu, then it's definitely for you. Have a look at it.
I won't be getting my missus in any of them positions.
Why not, mate? Why not?
Andy Bracewell's put any tips on cutting weight?
Right. So cutting weight, I've always been pretty good at it, to be honest. I've just always gone off Tom Blackledge's method, which was along the lines of the water load sort of sequence, and basically just make sure the stuff that you eat throughout your fight camp is what you eat after your weigh-ins as well. So a lot of people make the stupid mistake, and I've seen some idiotic things at weigh-ins. I won't name names on it, but I once seen a lad weigh in, and I think he'd cut about at least 12 key through the week, and he looked in an absolute state. I think it was the last time he ever got to this weight as well. And he managed to make weight, and he got off looking like he was about to die. And he opened a full fat bottle of Coke, drank that, and then ate a piece of cake. And you're like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I can eat now, can't I? I'm like, no, that's not how this works. And the stuff you see is, I mean, the higher you get in the professional levels, it's miles different. I've seen some of the best weight cutters in the world do it, and I've seen some of the absolute worst. And you tend to find it works with it alongside the gyms, really. If it's a professional gym with good professional fighters, they'll do it properly. None of our guys have ever missed weight. And like I say, I know Ian Butland will tell you he's got some crazy stories of weight cutting because he used to cut a lot of weight. But do it properly. And I'd say most of the time the water load's an important bit. I always try to, obviously when I fight at 70, I always try to stay around 76 kg so I don't have to massively cut too much. And I do a gradual cut sort of once I stop eating and drinking on the 12 cut the day before the weigh-in. I then start to just gradually try and work the weight off bit by bit. Some people don't do that. Some people say you shouldn't do it until the morning. I like to just gradually cut stuff out, start doing a little jog, and then get the sweat on. And then I always tend to wake up on weight. That's what's happened every single fight for me. Even I've salt bathed once when I went down to 66. Didn't like it. So the next time I went down to 66, I made sure I cut a little bit better and was ready to go. And actually the second time we got on about championship weight as well for that one. So it just depends really. Like I say, the tips are they follow the guidelines on it, follow from proper professional gyms. Don't just think you can just stop eating and you'll lose the weight because you won't.
Sauna for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, it's the recovery side of it. You've got to think. Everyone thinks that they can go. I've seen that as well, where people will go and eat, McDonald's or whatever straight after, or just stupid amounts of food. And it's like just try and keep to. If you've been on meal preps or you've been eating certain products, and just eat that for one more day, then you can have your day off when that Sunday comes. After your fight, you can then just take the piss and eat cakes and shit. Otherwise, it just becomes stupid. And I've seen the best and the worst do it. I really have.
How far do you go into, like, pretend you're not out of camp or whatever, just your normal day to day? Do you count your macros and stuff like that, or you just genuinely know what your calories are and not to go too heavy on stuff?
I genuinely look to have around, I do about 2,500 calories a day while I'm not in camp. That's my maintenance, I'd say. Yeah. From tried and tested over the years. I know if I go above that, if I go to about 3,000 and above, I'll start to put a bit of weight on. I can always feel that. Fight camp wise, I'll always stay at 2,000 for the camp. So usually that on an 8-week basis, that if I do a 12-week, I'll still have the 2,500 for the first 4 weeks, and then I go down to 2,000. Majority high protein level, a decent enough carb and a high fat as well. So that's what I tend to try and do. I try to lower my carbs a little bit throughout. And then up my protein again. That's just for recovery. I've always found my body takes well to protein for the recovery side of it, and that's what I kind of go off now. I don't go off aesthetics. I don't try and try and look good. I just try and be fit and be ready to go. And that's where I found the difference over the years. Once I got my diet right, when I wasn't just trying to get in shape to look in shape, I was trying to get in shape to just be in shape.
There's a difference, isn't there?
Massive difference, and I've been both. I've been in much better looking shape, but a lot less fit than what I am now. So now I know I can eat the right foods, but be a bit extremely fit whilst doing it. Like I say, running wise, I can run a fair bit these days. And I've never been a massive runner, but I've always had the good legs for it, to be able to go quite far. But it's always been one of those where I just don't enjoy it. And this is one thing again, when I talk about positives, it's the one positive I'll take from this whole lockdown thing. It's running. I'm actually starting to enjoy the runs now. That's probably because I'm not in fight camp as well, because they're a little bit less enjoyable then, because I'm always trying to keep my heart rate super high while I'm doing my hill sprints and stuff like that. And the enjoyable bit about this is, I think in the past this past month I've done one set of hill sprints. The rest has been actual like longer sort of runs up through
enjoying
the
the
valleys and
scenery
stuff.
more than anything else, like.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, stick an audio book on or stick some music on and just have a just run. And some days you just Forrest Gump it, don't you? And just keep running. And then, you're 8 miles deep and you think, shit, I need to turn back now.
Go on then, what audio books do you listen to get you going?
I listen to all sorts, to be honest with you. So I listen to, I can tell you my last playlist now. So I do a lot of audible stuff. So for me, I've just finished the Tyson Fury book, which was superb.
Good, that.
Really good. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I like the Tyson Fury stuff because just he says so many things that you can just relate to on the positive and the negative side of what he goes through and what he's been through, not just as a professional fighter, just as just his life. And you think, yeah, you know, he's a pretty real down to earth sort of talking guy. So that's one that I've just finished. Before that, I was reading Malcolm Gladwell's Talking to Strangers. That's really good as well. So yeah, I've just downloaded The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So I've been told that's a really good book. We'll soon see. Alex Ferguson. I'm a big United fan, so I read the Fergie book. So yeah, it's just things like that. You just stick them on in your ear while you're running. Black Box Thinking. That's a really good one.
Right.
Yeah, that's a superb book by Matthew Said. Now that's one if you want to sort of change the way your mentality is and the way you think, and it's all about the blame culture and how to sort of reflect on the things that you know, if you fucked up on something, have a look at what you did and where it went wrong. Yeah, rather than making the excuses, find where it went wrong and stop lying to yourself. And that book's really powerful book actually. So yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Or I like to listen to the podcast as well. But I used to listen to music when I'm running, but I kind of find sometimes if you're going on a bit of a longer venture, just stick a book on and it's just sinks in miles more whilst you're running along.
Yeah, something to take the edge off. Mason Shatwell, here's a question, mate. Favorite UFC fight you've ever seen?
Favorite I've ever seen? That's a tough one. For me, one of my favorite ever fights was BJ Penn versus Sean Shirk. Just because I still am massive BJ fan, old school BJ. But BJ Penn versus Sean Shirk, that was just the way he dealt with. You know, Sean Shirk at the time was an absolute phenom in that division and destroying everybody, and he just made him look like an amateur. And that was for me one of my favorite ever's. You then got to have a look at probably Randy Couture versus Chuck Liddell, the second. Well, both fights, the first and the second for me were both good. But yeah, I don't know. I've seen so many. There is, mate. But like I say, my favourite would be along them lines. I was a big fan of the Diaz McGregor first fight. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, for a modern day fight, that was one I really enjoyed. But yeah, I'd probably stick with my favourite. Had to be. In fact, do you know what? No, I'll change that one. Matt Serra versus GSP, the first one.
When he won it.
Serra, when he knocked GSP out, because I've always been a big Serra fan as well.
He doesn't talk about it much either.
I know. I love listening to his podcast as well. But I think, yeah, if you're going on one that I absolutely buzzed off the most was that because he was just given absolutely no chance in that fight. He was written off by everybody, and I'm pretty sure officially on the odds it was the for the odds on the title fight. I think it was the worst odds ever to win the title. For him to win it, and he absolutely just put him away, didn't he?
I hope he put some money on it as well.
No, it was a good few years ago that, but I remember watching that fight and just being absolutely sort of buzzing over it because, and I was a big fan of Serra anyway. I think he's jiu-jitsu, and weirdly enough, his jiu-jitsu is probably one of the best I've ever seen in MMA. Yeah, he only had like a couple of submissions, maybe one submission.
Does it?
No, it doesn't, because he is next level, and that's one thing me and Ian have talked about, getting over there and training with like the Danaher squad and training with Sarah at some point. That's definitely on the cards. Maybe even for next year, we'll look at that.
That'd be amazing. That absolutely amazing. Sam Kelly, you better not be one of these people, mate. What's your thoughts on 5G? Don't even tell me. Don't even tell me you've been banging that drum.
No, absolutely not, mate. Sam's asking out for a reason, mate. My thoughts on 5G is I can't wait to have faster upload speeds and download speeds. Yeah, no, no, I'm not one of those, mate. Absolutely not. I'm not.
Sorry, go on.
No. Like I say, I'm not into conspiracies at all. And yeah, go on. Next one.
I won't tell you who's asked this one.
Go on.
Who's your sickest grappling student?
I know. I reckon I know who's probably asked that. It's probably Is it Ewo?
Adam Evans.
Oh, is it Adam Evans? Oh, yeah, okay. Right, okay. So, my sickest grappling student is most definitely Adam Evans, 100%. And I'm not
I should have gone with you then. I should have said yeah.
Nah, he definitely is. Yeah, he's my boy. Yeah, he's quality. To be fair, we've got some mega guys coming through. We really have. Like I say, Sam's one of my long-standing students. Love Sam to bits. He does his stuff over at Bottlages for MMA as well. So, but yeah, I'd definitely say Evo's one of the top dogs. Definitely.
Do you ever go on nights out, drinking or out? I don't
Yeah.
really go out much anymore. But what's that like? Load of fighters. I mean, I know you got to keep it tone because I don't know what's it like because I suppose you don't get too rowdy anyway, do you? Or do you?
I wouldn't say rowdy. No, I don't know. It's we get nights out. Yeah, we definitely do. After any of our fights, we'll always have, unless someone's got a fight coming up after the week after or something, we tend to always get some kind of night out or party of some sort. So yeah, and usually the team are in it together. We have a Christmas do. Last year it was a good laugh. So yeah, we get out. To be honest with you, I mean, you don't tend to get too much shit, especially if there's a big group of you anyway, really, do you? Always found that. But I mean, if you did, obviously nights out, if it kicks off and there's a load of fighters out, it ain't the best of thing to deal with, is it?
No, definitely not. Rob's saying, hi, Rob Cunningham, how's it going, mate? What are your plans in the next 12 months, fight-wise, after the COVID? Well, he's going to Brazil and he's having 2 fights this year, Rob. Don't matter about the COVID.
Yeah, fuck
You're
COVID.
having it anyway.
Yeah. How you doing, Rob? Yeah. I think, like I say, we've got plans to. We were looking at another 3 fights this year originally. That was the plan. We were going to look at sort of a minimum of 3. Obviously, that's not going to happen now. If we can come out of this the other side of, if start having shows be August time, which is at a push really, but August, September time, we could probably do a September than a December. Yeah, definitely. Got enough time sort of sat in the house, haven't we? So I'd rather just get some scraps in. So plans are for the next 12 months is to sort of get at least in the next 12 months. I'd like to have 8 professional fights on my record.
Nice.
That's pretty much what we're looking at anyway. Yeah. And I want to massively. I wanted to compete as much as possible grappling, and I still want to. So that's going to be something we're going to be massively adding to it. We've got a team of competitive guys who want to compete as well. So I'm hoping that more of them shows start up as well. And I know Jay Cross and people like that, they'll be putting shows on straight away as soon as they can. I know Jake will put a good show. He's got a 6 show over at Empire. So we'll jump on anything we can really, and hopefully, like I say, just get as much experience as we can over this next, or as I can over this next couple of years. That's the plan. And if we can fight out in, Brazil or somewhere like that, or Japan, that'd be nice.
That'd be ace. That. Ian's got a good question there as well. Best fight you've ever called?
Ooh, best fight I've ever called. Probably. I don't know. I've called that many scraps. I think the best knockout I've ever seen. Well, the best knockout I've ever called was Sheldon Reed. That was phenomenal. That was pretty much. You were talking about Matt Thorpe actually about the Anderson Silva front kick. Well, this was This was literally like a year or so after that, and he landed one, and it was absolutely mega. And me and Ian was on the thing for that. So that was a good one. That was really good. I tell you what, one that I really enjoyed was a Shinobi fight, and it was one of my old teammates actually, Gav Hughes. Gav Hughes was fighting Biggie Thomason from Iceland. Now that was a really, really good scrap. Again, it was just back and forth, and I loved every minute of it. So yeah, we've been me and Ian have been very fortunate to call some good fights, but I'd probably say but the one that I got into the most, again, there was because obviously I'm close with Gav as well, but I'd say that one was one of the best I've ever called.
Nice, nice. And Peter Knox's infamous question: if you could change one rule in MMA, what would you change?
In professional rules, I quite like the down. I think the downward elbow is just the fucking stupidest rule in the world. Because you can't do an elbow downwards, but you can throw it over the top, which has got way more power in it. It doesn't make any sense. So I'd change that for a start, and I'd go back and give John Jones his fucking win for that. That's a definite. But yeah, that's the stupidest rule. One rule I'd like to bring back or have in the UFC. I'm quite a big fan of the sort of stomps and the soccer kicks. I do like that. I don't see a massive difference in a soccer kick compared to an elbow again. They're still pretty brutal and are done with a lot of force. So I don't know. And he changed the game up as well because I think it'd stop a lot of guard players in MMA. I think bringing that into it, just in case they went to their ass, got spammed around and kicked in the face. A lot seemed to. It would change the game a little bit for me. So I'd like to bring that in. I'd like to fuck off the rule of downward elbows.
I think it's a visualization of it that they've decided against, isn't it? You know, if you see someone doing a football kick, I suppose it looks worse than what it actually is.
Well, actually, so we interviewed a guy a few years ago called Yuri. He's called Yuri. And he works with M1 with Ian over there. And he was actually telling us the reason why. I think because they allow that in, I think M1 allow it, I'm not too sure. But they're saying the reason they actually don't have elbows in some countries is because they don't like blood. So they don't like bloodshed on TV. Right. So it's quite an interesting one. So like, same with Japan back in the day. From what I believe, anyway, is what we're told from the Pride days, they didn't allow elbows, and the main reason being is because it had more chance of causing sort of bleeding than a head stomp would. Yeah, which realistically does make sense. Elbows are made to shred open and to cut open. So yeah, so that's an interesting one. What we kind of found out from that. So yeah, I've been lucky to, like I say, to speak to some sort of really high up guys in M1 and places like that, and you find out a bit of this knowledge, and it's interesting when you hear it, and it makes sense why they didn't have it. But I'd like to have some of the rules added back in, definitely like that.
I'm guessing this is your missus, because she's laughing her head off. Does he ever go out on nights out drinking, laughing?
Well, she
you go out quite often, then, do you?
if I'm not in fight camp, I'll definitely go out and have a drink, 100%. Yeah. Usually the month after that tends to be where I have a few blowouts.
Who's James McLaughlin? I hope I pronounced that right. Do you know him, James McLaughlin? Do you like Ben Askren? And is that who you've based your hairstyle on?
I don't know him, no, but yes, that's exactly why. Yeah, I'm a big Ben Askren fan. Or I was. I do actually like Ben. I think I used to like him back in the day when he was before he went to China, really. I think he won FC and that. I think he was, before that, was one of the best in the world. And I know Joe Rogan always talks about him. But yeah, that's definitely what I based the sexy curls on.
Who has the best up kick, Sam Kelly or Renzo Gracie?
Definitely Sam Kelly. Definitely the most illegal up kick anyone's ever seen ever. No, I'm joking. Now, to be fair, I've never ever seen someone be able to get that much power. I don't know if I mean, obviously, he got disqualified for it, but I've never seen someone get that much power from an up kick from that close range, because it was literally.
I thought his tooth come out, but I think it must have just been saliva or something. But I thought the guy's tooth come out, mate.
Well, like I say, we seen the first one. The first one he got was completely legal, as he was, he was standing. So he got it. It was the way he got it, because the lad's head was really close in, and Sam just managed to get his foot up and smash straight through his face. And I seen it. He looked over at our corner and he looked really dazed. So we knew it hurt him. Yeah. And we he was in a position then to do it again, so we shouted for it again. And when we shouted for it, the guy dropped down. Then Sam's gone for it, and he was
because he's urged. Yeah, you thinking?
Well, yeah, but not to start as fighter's instinct anyway. He wanted to get that again, because we knew the first one massively hurt him. Because I mean, the power that was generated from it, and you watch it back, and you're like, fucking hell, that must have really hurt him, that. And then obviously the second one broke his nose like in half. So I hope he's all right, I hope he's recovered, and hope we get that fight again. That'd be nice to, it'd be really nice to see. When the world restarts again. But definitely Sam Keller.
Yeah, like I say, it's perfect rematch for it. Or do you think you might be able to maybe get him onto a Cage Warriors?
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah,
maybe.
No reason why not.
I think we want to. I think with Sam, we'd want to definitely look at getting him back on for that FCC title first. I think if that comes about, because Adam's been good to say that he'll have that rematch straight away. So, or at least he'll get a shot on the show. So, and I think that's fair to sort of honour that with shows these days. And Adam's been good to us. So, yeah, it'd be nice to get back on FCC for him, I think, and get that belt, because I know Sam wants that belt.
Yeah. With you being coach as well, does it get hard to kind of, like I say, you want them to make sure they're ready before you say move up to the next level? How do you find like approaching them with that? Like, if you think they're ready, do they approach you? Do you approach them? Do you just discuss it out and say, what's the next steps?
Well, yeah, I mean, you've obviously, as a team, I was involved with it, so it's not just me. Obviously, I'm the head coach at Manchester for Real Grappling. Ian's the head coach over at Real Grappling Huddersfield and runs the Real Grappling North England team as well. So, which amalgamates all the lads that are fighters, really. So we kind of working that together by bringing our guys through to bring them into the fight team. We've got people, got a few guys, Lewis Ridley, people like that coming through. Ash Cooper, all part of the Quantum setup as well as Rio. It's all the same sort of thing anyway. One's just the grappling side, one's the MMA side. So we've got a team full of guys, experienced guys. Lee Keast has run the Quantum team in the past, and he works with us, part of the Rio team. So we've got a dynamic setup anyway. So it's not just me having to deal with that. What we tend to do is for my fights, Ian massively gets involved at the Manchester site as well, comes over and does a lot of our stuff. And on the nights when I need to train elsewhere or whatever, or need to do something, he'll come over and take the class and stuff like that. So we've got a really good setup with it. To be honest, we're a relatively small, newish team, but we've got enough good, experienced guys. I mean, you look at the experience on the mats that we've got most sessions, and we've got a lot of good guys on there. A lot of old school guys. And professional boxers. We've got all sorts within the team. So we're very, very lucky in that way, and we're building something. Or we're trying to build something this next few years that's going to work. And Real Grappling team in general is going to take off, just as it did in Scotland with the Dinky Ninjas and all the guys at higher level, place like that. So we're doing the same thing in England now, and that's the plan. We've also got, like I say, every year we've got camps we can go to. We can literally travel over to Poland, Italy, Croatia, anywhere, Brazil, Scotland, obviously, and we've got some of the best teams and the best guys around, some real high level black belts. So, like I say, we are lucky. The next training camp will definitely be spending some time with James Doolan. That's our mine and Ian's plan, is to get us up there and do some stuff up there. For sure.
Nice. John Shaw, cheers, mate. When you getting your brown belt, lad?
No idea, mate. No idea. Well, one day when it comes, mate. Like I say, at the minute, just focusing on training, just enjoying it. Like I say, it's the most I've ever enjoyed training this past few years. Just like I say, used to have a lot more. I don't know. I wouldn't say worries, but just have like a lot of things getting in the way of training, or mentally getting in the way of me going training, stuff like that. And now don't tend to have that. I really, really enjoy just being on the mats and whatever session is, sparring, rolling, anything like that. I just enjoy it now. And
do you think that's due to maturing through it, or number of things, health, what you're eating, stuff like that? Just a combination of everything.
I think training, it's a weird one. It's a bit of a catch-22, because training is always easier when you're in a healthy mindset. But getting a healthy mindset, you need to be training. So it works. It's a weird one for me. If I'm not training, I'm not happy. That's what I've noticed. It's like that's what's talking about the Tyson Fury stuff, because you listen to some stuff he says, and it makes perfect sense to me. And because you're like, if I'm not got a goal, then I kind of get a bit lost sometimes. And that's, I've got a healthy work life and a healthy family life. Nothing to do with that. It's that I'm happy with all that work and family. But then if your training's missing, there's just something always missing in me. So I've noticed that the past few years. And then, like I say, when you read people like that's books and stories, you think, Jesus, yeah. And I tell you now, there's a lot more people in combat sports that are on more of that level than they are on the other level of being all healthy, fine in the head and ready to go. I'm telling you now. And fighters aren't the same unless they're training and fighting.
Adam Evans, who do you think offers the best fight promotion in the UK? Ooh, FCC, WCFC, ICE, etc., and why?
I definitely say who offers the best. You've got to say Cage Warriors in the UK. I think they've just, if you're talking on a national basis, they've got academies now. Obviously, I've worked for the Northwest Academy as well. Hopefully, that'll be back about at some point with Paul Reed. Paul Reed, fantastic matchmaker and promoter. But yeah, I think Cage Warriors for me are on sort of the highest level. And I think that it's a show that runs very, very smooth. You know, it's one that people aspire to be on. I know you've got the Bellator Europe stuff, but I don't know. I think for me, there never seems to be amazing fights on Bellator Europe. There's good fights on it, and there's some fantastic fighters and friends of mine that are signed to it and doing very well. But I don't know. I think Cage Warriors just seems to be that route to the UFC as well. That connection they've got with the UFC Fight Pass, it's pretty big in it. And you look at the guys, and I think most of the champions from the Cage Warriors now get straight into the UFC. That seems to be the way it is. And the good thing as well, the guys that have dropped out the UFC and need to find themselves again. Mads Burnell being one of them, actually. He dropped out the UFC and ended up back at Cage Warriors, and now he's ready for the UFC again. Yeah. So things like that, I think that tends to be the route in. And if you look at the guys that have gone from Cage Warriors to the UFC, they've always done very well. Obviously, McGregor aside, there's other guys in there as well. Arnold Allen, for instance, people like that who are just doing very, very well from going from such a big European organisation to the biggest in the world. But on a regional side of it, I've worked for some really good shows, to be honest, and I've seen some. One of the best run shows was probably Shock and Awe down in Portsmouth. Okay. Just there's an ongoing like joke of you get given the sheet of the fighters, and you get given sometimes the times of what they're on. And you might as well fucking throw them times out the window because you know they're not going to happen. You've been to shows, and it's like, you know, some of these shows like we're going to finish at 9:45 and you're there at 1 a.m. And I've had that a fair few times. Shock and Awe literally had like 13 minutes past 5 this, and it was like it literally bang on.
But it stuck to it,
mate. 100%. We were done and dusty. I think they had 20 fights on it. Molly McCann was on it actually. Molly was a big shout out to Molly. She was fighting on it when I was commentating on that, and yeah, it was done by 10 o'clock. It was like, wow, I've never heard anything like it. So I'd say for running wise, that was one of the best. Shinobi or Cage Warriors Academy, whichever you want to call it, that is for me. The Shinobi shows are some of the best matched for amateurs more than pros. Shinobi only really had the amateur side, but the matching on that was absolutely brilliant. And that's the Biggie Thomason fight with Gav Hughes. That's what we were talking about before. That was on Shinobi. So yeah, there's some good ones. FCC cracker. Always have a good venue as well. Always have good matches. Great to fight on it. Great to have worked on it, commentated. So yeah, there's some real good ones out there.
Nice. Rob, are we going to see a Jamie Hay lockdown shaved head? Yeah, I already know what the answer to that question as well. That's a no, 100%.
No chance, mate. This will just keep going outwards. I'm fine with that. Like I said, I've got my missus cutting the sides, nice and easy. Of COVID-19 cuts. And like I said, I'll go full David Luiz or Krusty the Clown. Me, I'll go right out. Fine, I'm fine with that. Absolutely, no drama at all.
Yeah, mine's getting pretty bad, but that's why I'm wearing my hats. I don't normally wear hats.
You always tell the man that wears a cap, mate, he's hiding something.
I am hiding a big mop, mate. That.
It could be worse, mate. It could be worse.
I don't know how, but yeah, it could be worse. Katie Hunter, who would you most like to fight on the current Cage Warriors roster? Anyone. You're going to say anyone and everyone.
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know if there's anyone that I particularly don't like from it.
What do you think would be a good test for you then? Who do you think, fancy? I think that'd be a good fight, that, when you look at him?
I don't really know. There's some good ones on the Cage Warriors roster in general. I really don't know without looking through it. Have we even target, to be honest, at the minute? But I don't know, whoever they put in front of me right now, I'm happy to have a pop.
Yeah.
But I don't know half the roster at the minute anyway, to be fair.
Not fancy one of them garden fights at the minute with lockdown. Everyone
That's
chuffing a quid.
That's the next thing, isn't it? That's what's coming. If this continues any longer, there's definitely going to be some back garden brawls. It's going to be bringing back some of the Kimbo Slice days. I think that's on the cards. Or some of the underground fights. That will definitely happen if this continues, I'm sure. But I'm sure it won't continue.
Big barnyard. Do you ever fancy yourself doing bare knuckle or anything like that?
Not for me, mate. Not for me at all. Just to be fair though, again, like good friends with Ricardo Franco. Rico's done a fantastic job. He was a good MMA fighter, very good MMA fighter, to be fair. Made the switch across, and I think he's like 7-0 now. Smashed everybody that they put in front of him. Beat that Martin Sweeney. Beat him convincingly, and he was the world champion, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's some real good guys made the switch across. But I'm not a boxer, so I enjoy stand-up fighting, but I think with the bare knuckle, I think you're going to find more old school boxers going into it, or guys that are more sort of versed to the boxing side of the MMA. That's who you'll see switching across.
Well, that's adapting as well, isn't it? The fighting in that was changing week by week, because it's, I mean, obviously bare knuckle's old, but the actual turning it into a sport is pretty fairly new. So
yeah, I mean, Ian and Andy Butlin, they was refereeing the first BKB championships, like going back 7 years ago, when he first sort of got with the hay bales and stuff. So they was well involved in that, heavily involved actually. And now, like you say, it's gone to more of televised and in certain parts of the world, and America's getting pretty big. Paulie Malignaggi's now steps across to it.
Did you watch that?
Nah, like I say, I'm not massively into it. I love boxing. I love watching boxing, but the bare knuckle stuff, it doesn't massively interest me. And I don't know why, to be honest. It just doesn't. I think there's just a lot of bloodshed. I think some cracking fights, like you say, and an Artem versus him was a big fight in general. But I think it'd have been better to see that in an actual boxing match, to be honest. I think it'd have been more entertaining. And yeah, and I'm also not a fan of the idea of ever doing bare knuckle MMA, which will probably happen at some point, I'm sure.
You reckon? You against that?
I'm not against it. I just wouldn't do it. It wouldn't entertain me again.
Right.
And, the gloves in MMA are more there for the safety reasons, for your hands more than they are for someone's head as such. I think, but yeah, I don't know. The gloves need adapting for the finger pokes, because that seems to be a big thing, doesn't it? We've seen a fair few people get severe finger pokes, and it's some nasty stuff like that happens. But I don't know. For me, I'd like to see the glove change a little bit, maybe, or something happen on that side rather than it go to any kind of bare knuckle.
I think it's a bit of both, in it. Bit of padding for your knuckles, and then putting on the other side, you can punch them a bit more and a bit harder. So I think it's got a good happy medium where it is, to be honest myself.
Yeah. I'd say I wouldn't change anything with it at a minute, but if he was going to change something, I'd rather have more protection with the glove rather than less protection, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Favorite fighter to get inspiration from? Cheers, Mason. Favorite fighter for inspiration?
My favorite fighter of all time is Matt Serra. Mentioned him before, definitely. Watch all Matt's stuff. And again, if you look at that team in general, the Renzo Gracie setup, I just love the way Renzo used to fight. Big fan of that. Matt Serra, just always been a fan of him. So I'd say that side of it and that style, I just love. So yeah, I'd say all time, I'd say definitely him. I'd say current. It's a tough one currently, really. I like watching Stipe. Just like the way he fights.
He's just proper nice guy as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Fireman, UFC champion of the world, fights fires on. Not for fun. It's his job, but
but he doesn't
everything about him, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's got enough money to not work. I can tell you that. But no, I'd probably say my favourite fighter at the minute would be Ferguson. Definitely. Tony Ferguson, just because, again, stylistically, I love the way he fights. I love the sort of scrappy, fast, gets in there, gets in the face, makes it into what they don't want it to be every time, and always has an answer for something. Such an intelligent fighter, and I really, really enjoy watching Ferguson. And personally, I think he'll beat Khabib. I think he'll be. I'm not going to say kryptonite for him, but I'm going to say I think he's going to be the one that Khabib will struggle to work out. I think Poirier very nearly caught that guillotine on Khabib. We can't forget that. Even though Poirier took an absolute leathering, don't get me wrong, but he nearly caught him with something, and that is what Ferguson would not let go. That is what like he would finish that. And for me, I think there's enough openings, jiu-jitsu wise, for someone like Ferguson. I'm not saying anyone else, because I don't think there's anyone else in that division that could do it. I really don't at the minute. But I think that fight would just be through the roof, and I think he'd beat him. I really do.
Will it ever happen though? That's the problem. Will it ever happen?
Probably not. Probably some other pandemic will happen to stop it.
What have you got with Ferguson and Gaethje then?
Ferguson, yeah, I think again a good scrap. I think Gaethje's going to leave himself too open for what Ferguson brings. I think it'll be very scrappy to start with. I think the first round will be a real back and forth scrap, and I think Gaethje might take the first round, but I reckon Ferguson will just find something second, third, and pull it out of the bag. And I think he'll finish him. I really do. I don't even know if it'll be a sub. I think he might just stop him. That's just a thought process I've got with the way Ferguson fights. He gets caught in every fight. That's the problem, and that's where someone like Conor or someone like Gaethje is going to be a problem for him, because he does get caught. And when you're getting caught by people that can really hit, that's where the trouble is going to come in. But he's took on a lot of good people who have hit him, and he's just bounced back.
Been close to losing as well, hasn't he? Just gets back. Like I say, capitalise it on their mistakes then, as soon as he's looking to be down. I actually think
people probably laugh at me on this one, but I think McGregor versus him will be a much tougher fight, because I think it'll end up on the feet more than anything. And I think, I don't know, you just never know if you'll get caught by someone like Conor, because he can put anybody out, can't he?
Yeah. Good point. Last one from here now, because we'll have to let you go soon, mate. Who is the most talented fighter you've ever trained with? That's from Rob. There's Rob.
Most talented I've ever trained with?
Most talented fighter you've ever trained with?
I don't know. That is a real tough one. Depends what you're looking at, really. You know, I've had the pleasure to train with some real talented guys. Ian, super talented, very, very well-rounded as well. Probably the most well-rounded MMA fighter I've come across. Andy Butlin, definitely the best boxer I've ever trained with. I never sparred with Andy, and I definitely wouldn't. And he knows that. But no, Andy's class. Tom Blackledge definitely as well up there. Tom's super, super talented. There's a fair few. Like I say, I've been very, very lucky to train with some real sort of talented guys. Gav Hughes, another one. Just one of them guys that can just bring anything out. I think one of the biggest up and comers at the minute that I've trained with would be Jordan Barton. Jordan, just, I don't know, there's just something with Jordan you see every single fight. So I commentated Jordan's first ever fight, and he went, I think he was at welterweight or something stupid, and you seen that he had the raw talent, but he didn't have the team behind him, and now he's just fixed every little bit that he's along the way, and he's had losses on his record, but I think he's a super talented guy to train with and to watch as well. So yeah, there's a fair few. I've been extremely lucky, like I say, to train with some superb guys and girls. Nice.
What's it like sparring with the girls? Do you go easy on him, or do they more normally beat you up anyway?
I've never really sparred. I've never actually really sparred with a female fighter. I've rolled with many. Becky Martin, I've rolled with her. Pani Kianza, definitely the best female I've rolled with. Pani was brilliant. Really enjoyed that. She was just dead humble as well, and just I had a really good sort of time with her, and she's really, really talented. Obviously, then got to the UFC from it. At the time, she was in Invicta, and then obviously got the UFC call up just after. So I've been. I don't know. It's just they're just fighters, aren't they? It doesn't matter man or woman. Doesn't really matter. Just they're still training partners, and like I say, some of them are just absolute savages as well. It's great to see.
I remember. So it just reminded me of a video I saw with Cyborg and Bisping. Cyborg's fully pelted him, but he weren't expecting it. So I've got a vision now that every female MMA fight is like that in the gym.
Oh yeah, you'll tend to fight. They definitely. I mean, if they're a female fighter, they're like I said, they're a female. They're a fighter rather than just being a female or a male. And they're just, people don't realize that sometimes. And I know it's laughed at sometimes with girls fighting. You think, come and train with them then. Go have a fight with them.
Tell them that. Tell them to the face.
That's the big difference, because there's no bullshit in it. Fighting's fighting, and if they're trained, they're trained. It's simple as that. And I've come across some seriously tough girls. And do you know what? Some of the best fights that I've commentated. Molly, when I commented on Molly a few years ago in Portsmouth, and I've done the Cage Warriors Academy. I think she fought on there as well at one point. She's just amazing to watch, and she'll bang any bloke out. I'll tell you now, like, she can hit, seriously hit. And like you say, people won't sleep on a UFC fighter because they know they've got to UFC, so they're going to be good. But some of the up-and-comers like Levi and people like that, like, if you sat at home thinking they can't fight, like I say, go and train with them and see what you think. That'd be a big difference, massive difference. And I've got respect for anyone that trains. I really have.
On that note, mate, I'll leave you. Cheers for coming on. Hours flown by, mate. Absolutely flown by. Absolute
pleasure, mate. Like I say, I'm sure we'll get some fights very, very soon, hopefully. And I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. I'm looking forward to seeing you at a fight show, mate, because that means this crazy shit's over.
It's really weird seeing people, though, isn't it? You won't see them for ages.
The handshakes will be banned, mate. Yeah. We won't be allowed to handshake or hug, mate. That'll be done. I don't have an answer for that.
We'll have to sell them big foam hands on the doors. Everyone will get one of them on the doors. Yeah, that's a business opportunity there, mate. Let's do that.
It's there, mate. As long as some bullshit like non-contact jiu-jitsu comes out, I'm happy.
2 meters away.
Yeah, these talks are stupid things at the minute, but we'll not go into that. That's for another day, mate.
Cheers for coming on, mate, and all the best.
Cheers, take care. Nice one, bud.
Cheers.